Vice Brahmanas are considered to be superior. Which Brahmanas are?
Is equal to the Brahmanas.
Brahmanas are what? Brahmanas are? So, because yesterday you studied, Krishna eats through the mouth of the Brahmana, right? Krishna does not eat otherwise. He actually eats better. He likes to eat better through the mouth of the Brahmanas than the food that is offered directly to the sacrificial fire. And then Krishna is explaining in this particular verse that the Brahmanas have this quality. There's this quality, okay, maintained by transcendental education. So basically, they are maintaining Krishna's. So Sattvam Paramam is the first quality here. Sattvam Paramam. They are situated in the purest Sattvagun. Okay, and then it is Samo. Samo means what? Sama means sense control of the mind. Dhamma means control of the senses. Then what else is there? What other qualities? Sama, Dhamma, Satya. They are truthful. Then Anugraha. Anugraha means they are merciful to other living entities. Okay, so they are able to, because they are preaching Krishna consciousness out of the mercy, because they can see that the living entity is suffering the threefold of miseries in the material world due to lack of Krishna consciousness. Tapas, they do tapasya. Then titiksha, they're tolerant. Then anubhavas. Anubhava means that they have realized the position of the conditioned soul and that of the Lord and the relationship between the two. So these are the attractive qualities of the Brahmanas that Krishna is talking about, which we will elaborate. Sattvam Paramam. They are situated in the purest transcendental mode. Samo, they have conquered their mind. Damaha, they have conquered their senses. 3, 4, Satyam, they are truthful because they are preaching the Vedas, and Vedas talk about the absolute truth. Anugraha, which is number 5, is that they are very merciful to the conditioned soul. Tapas, number 6, is they do austerities. Tiksha, number 7, that they are very tolerant. And Anubhavas is they have realized the position of the God and the living entity, or Krishna and living entity. Chayatra, wherein. So Krishna is describing Rishabdev to become the ruler, and he is telling other sons to follow Bharat Maharaj. I'm sorry, Rishabdev is telling Bharat Maharaj to become the ruler. Then he's telling his other sons to follow the ruling of Bharat Maharaj because he's the best of all. And then he is saying that how a ruler will rule. The ruler will rule under the direction or supervision of a Brahman. Now, who is a Brahman? Brahman is this person who has all these qualities. Now, Sattvam Paramam. Sattvam Paramam, Prabhupada is translating it as the mode of goodness, a supreme mode of goodness. So I was thinking, what does it mean? I do have to do more reading, but it looks like that we have 3 main modes of nature. What are the 3 main modes of nature again? What are the 3 main modes?
Ignorance, passion, and
mode of passion, a mode of ignorance.
Okay, so goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, these are the 3 main modes of nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. But then there are subdivisions under them. Okay, for example, mode of ignorance, it has 5 subtypes, right? I don't know about passion and goodness, but that's what it looks like. They must be. That's why Krishna is saying Sattvam Paramam, the highest transcendental mode of goodness. He's not saying Shuddha Sattva. Sattvam Paramam. I don't know if they're interchangeable because wherever I have read the reference, Sattvam Paramam is situated in the purest Sattva Guna. So still the mode of goodness is there, the purest, supreme mode of goodness. So for the discussion's sake, this Brahman, now you tell me, out of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, who's more superior? I mean, not like there's a competition, but who is superior? Out of Brahmanas.
Vaishnava is more superior. Vaishnava.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because Vaishnava is situated in the pure mode of goodness.
Can you raise your hands, please? Because everyone is speaking over each other. So I want to know what you're saying. Can you please raise your hands? And then I can unmute you. What makes you say that Vaishnavas are superior? Mathaji, go ahead. Madhumai Krishna Kanta. Mathaji.
The Vaishnava is situated in the pure mode of goodness, whereas Brahmana is situated in the mode of goodness. Shuddha Sattva, Vaishnava is in Shuddha Sattva.
All right, thank you. Okay. Shubham Patil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. A Brahmana cannot become Vaishnava, but a Vaishnava will have all the qualities of Brahmana.
The Brahmana cannot become Vaishnava ever?
Means he can become, but a Vaishnava has the all quality of Brahmana, but a Brahmana has not all the quality of Vaishnava.
Okay, so what is special in Vaishnava that is not there in Brahmana?
मतलब ब्राह्मणा कैसे रहते ना वो सब वेदाज की पढ़ाई करते सब कुछ करते हैं, लेकिन वो डिवोटी होंगे ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. मतलब वो डिवोटी वैष्णव मतलब कृष्णा के भक्त होंगे नहीं ये जरूरी नहीं. वो सब पढ़ाई वगैरह सब कुछ करते हैं, लेकिन वैष्णव जो होते हैं वो भगवान कृष्ण के भक्त होते हैं. वो डिफरेंस है उन दोनों में.
धन्यवाद. कैलाश शाह प्रभु.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vaishnavas, they follow Krishna, and the Brahmanas usually they are Saivats. They follow Shiv Bhagwan.
But here Krishna is saying Brahmanas are superior. So why is he not saying devotees of Lord Shiva are superior? Therefore, among all living entities, no one is superior to Brahmins. Thank you. Thank you. So, Brahmanas, I think Shubham Patil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Surya Prakash. Hare Dandavat Pranam. I feel that Vaishnava is an already in advanced Krishna Chaitanya state. So he not perform any karmic activities, whereas Brahmana has to perform the karmic activities. Because everything, whatever he perform, he will be for the Krishna sake only. That is, I think, that is the difference.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So basically, in this particular verse, Krishna is describing the supreme most Brahman, which is no other than Vaishnava. Okay, without becoming a Vaishnava, one cannot come under the jurisdiction of being called as the superior of all living entities. Because superior most of all living entities is a Vaishnava or a devotee of Vishnu. So these qualities are, when consolidated, make up the Vaishnava. Okay, so they are situated in that mode of goodness where they are able to assimilate the knowledge. Without being situated in the mode of goodness, there is no knowledge. Mode of passion, the skill, whatever education we are getting in the secular world, according to the scriptures, is not knowledge, is not gyan. Gyan and Vigyan. Remember, we discussed this definition few verses ago. Gyan is the knowledge of the self, or awareness of the self, but we don't have that. So what we are studying in the secular world is a skill to go on living in this material world comfortably. It's not knowledge. That has to be very clear. Knowledge is only available in mode of goodness. So without being situated in mode of goodness, without having all these qualities, nobody can claim to be a knowledgeable person. That's number one. Then about sama, control of the mind, Krishna describes in 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, verse number 7. What does he say? Jitat manaha prashantasya paramatma samahita. Jita atmanaha. Atmanaha. So Jita means one who has conquered, one who has attained victory. Atmana. What has one conquered? One's own mind. What is that? Prashantasya. Prashantasya means calmness. Prashant, right? Prashantasya. Shant means calmness or tranquility, as Prabhupada is saying. Who has attained tranquility by such control over the mind. So Jitat Manaha Prashantasya. One who has conquered the mind and has achieved tranquility over it. Paramatma Samahita. For that particular soul, Samahita means achieved or completely approached. So the super soul is already achieved. So that's samaha. It's not a very easy thing. So remember, what is mind control? The definition of mind control. How do I know my mind is controlled? If I have achieved this tranquility. Jitat manha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha. So here, control of the mind. So now the interesting hierarchy which I found was that Krishna is not saying damaha samaha. He's saying samaha dama. So before, unless and until one's mind is controlled, senses are not going to be controlled, because mind is the powerhouse of generating different desires, and senses just act as a medium to go and fulfill or fetch those desires to feed the mind. Okay, so without controlling mind, senses are not controlled. And how do I know my mind is controlled? Vijjitatmanaha prashantasya paramatmaha samahita. So that is the highest level of control of mind. Then comes when the senses are controlled, comes truthfulness. One cannot be truthful if the mind is not controlled and the senses are not controlled. One cannot control the mind if there is no knowledge. And one cannot have knowledge if we are not situated in pure mode of goodness. Okay, that's a sequence. There's a sequence here. So satyam, truthfulness. So what is the absolute truth? What is the absolute truth? And or if you actually understand this verse in another way, truthfulness about what? About what? Anubhava. Anubhava means that what is my position or what is Krishna's position. It's very clear. That in relation, if I am clear, I think over the weekend when I was at the retreat, one devotee was talking to me. She said, in a family, I think I said this, in a family dynamics, one needs to be very clear about their position in that family. One needs to be very clear about their roles and responsibilities. So that particular family dynamics is very healthy, right? Like, for example, if we look at Krishna's pastimes, Krishna, it's very clear that Mother Yashoda and Vasudeva are his parents. Very clear that the Gopas are his friends. It's very clear that Balaram is his older brother, but he also has Vatsalya. He's very caring as a parent to him. Where it is very clear, the relationships are defined. Is there an overlap that sometimes Gopas become Vasudev or like father and mother? Sometimes father and mother become like a Gopas. Is there? Do we ever come across such kind of confusion? Who is who in pastimes of Krishna?
No,
Even
Mataji.
though they all can change their position wherever they want because they're spiritual, they have that liberty. But what I'm trying to say is that their sattva, truthfulness about what? About anubhava. They have realized, a Brahman has realized that who is God and who is living entity and what is the interrelation between the two. So it's not that sometimes a living entity becomes God, or sometimes a living entity merges into God, or there is no God, or what are the other misconceptions that go on? That God has no body, but when God comes to material world, assumes a human form of body, but actually he has no body. All these misconceptions, no, very clear. That is why they're able to tell the truth. And because they are able to tell the truth, because they're situated in knowledge, because their mind is controlled, because they have controlled their senses, they are able to assimilate the property or the quality of compassion for the fallen conditioned soul. What is the pranam mantra for Vaishnavas that we chant every morning after Mangalarti? What is the pranam mantra? Translation, please. One person raise your hand. What is the translation? Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhu bhaya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yes, one person. Tell me the translation. Nobody can tell me the translation. Just let us offer our humble obeisances onto the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, who are just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of all and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned soul. Kripa sindhubhya evacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So Patitanam Pavanebhyo, where Patitanam means one who has fallen condition, Pavanebhyo, very, very compassionate to the fallen conditioned soul. Okay, so we offer obeisances to those Vaishnavas. So why? Because they're very compassionate. How have they become very compassionate? Because they have worked on themselves, because they have realized who they are. Okay, and Krishna likes it. Krishna likes that, okay, a living entity is fully in knowledge. Krishna likes, you see, if the father and mother, do they like to see their children go haywire in the street? No education, not properly dressed, not properly fed, dirty, or doing bad things on the street. Does parents like children like that?
No,
No,
Mataji.
Mataji.
So Krishna, where is this quality coming from? You know, how do the parents not like their children to be haywire in life? Because Krishna doesn't like that. Krishna likes us in that way, that he wants to see that I'm good. I'm perfectly situated in my position. As much as a compassionate parent, father and a mother are happy to see, satisfied to see their children settled, right? Like that. Where is this quality coming from? That quality is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna likes that I'm going towards Krishna. So we think that going to Krishna is hard. Yes, it is not easy, but actually it is the most constitutional position of each one of us. It's most natural quality of a soul to go to Krishna. Most natural. Over the weekend, we were discussing one pastime of Uttara. Right? Uttara, when she sensed that her fetus is going to be lost, she ran to Krishna, right? She ran to Krishna. So the devotee who was giving that session said that, you see, Uttara, if you look at Uttara, she is a daughter-in-law of Arjun. She's a Abhimanyu's wife. She has Maharani Kunti, who's a pure devotee of Krishna in her life, right? All the 5 Pandavas are pure devotees of Krishna. She herself comes from a background, which I don't know what the background was, they said that, which is filled with devotional service to Krishna. But she does not go to anybody else. They're all there. She does not go to anybody else. She doesn't go to Kunti. She doesn't go to 5 Pandavas. She doesn't go to anybody else. She goes to Krishna because she's fully aware that only Krishna, right? Tvam ekam. And Krishna says, Mam ekam. And she says, Tvam ekam. So a Brahmana is able to realize that I actually have no other shelter other than Krishna. And that's a very good shelter to have, because if you have Krishna, then you have everything else. And because they have realized it, what was the original context of the talk? They are able to be compassionate on other conditioned souls. Compassion is a spiritual quality. It's not a material quality. Daya, okay, daya, we can say there are different words for mercy. One is like daya or compassion or anugraha, or what we are reading over here, mercy, or pavanebhyo, right, which like compassion for the fallen conditioned soul. Or what are the other words that you can think of showing compassion that we read in scriptures? Tell me.
Karuna.
Karuna, very nice. Karuna Sindhu, very nice. What other?
Dinabandhu.
Very nice, Deen Bandhu. So you see, but out of all this vocabulary, Anugraha is supposed to be the highest. Mercy. Okay, if you come across this, I learned from the senior devotees that Anugraha is supposed to be the highest. Because Anugraha means that one is showing compassion in relation to Krishna. Yeah, not like, okay, if somebody is sick and you treat them or you give them medicine and diet and clean environment to rest. Yeah, that is also a sort of help. That is also a sort of mercy. There is also expression of daya, bhav. But that's not the highest. The highest is anugraha, where one actually takes one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Krishna likes it. Krishna likes when we go to him. He likes it. He likes that, okay, when we are going to him, we have to streamline. We're streamlining our life, actually. We are going here and there, everywhere. And now we are bringing ourselves back in the center, and moving to Krishna and making effort. That effort of going to Krishna is called tapasya, right? And when we are doing tapasya, we have to tolerate so much. Like, for example, during Ekadashi, if somebody has a desire to eat the grain, they will not eat it. Okay, they are doing tapasya, but they're also tolerant. They're tolerating the urge, and then they're doing the tapasya of fasting. So, because the goal is so high, because I need to go to Krishna, and this will make me less attached to my bodily conception of life. That's why we do the fasting. That's why we do all the austerities. That's why we chant Hare Krishna. That, okay, for that particular moment when I'm chanting Hare Krishna, let me not associate my existence with the material body. Let me just, relish who really I am. That's why we say now 5 a.m. consciousness helps us to hit the 9 a.m. reality. But Krishna will take care if somebody is very sincere. So in this particular verse, basically it is an open invite to cultivate these qualities. Okay, the 8 qualities of a Brahman. So basically the caste Brahman is outcasted here. Somebody says, I am this Brahman or that Brahman because I'm born in family of Brahman, then go and double check that are you situated in Sattvam Paramam? Are you practicing Sama, Dhamma? Are you practicing Satya? Are you practicing Anugraha? Are you practicing Tapaha, Titikshaha, Anubhava? If no, then sorry, what is it called? You're not a Brahman. You're something else. But if we continue to cover ourselves with those colors, then Krishna is going to just be a witness, right? He says in 13th chapter, what does he say? I'm the overseer and the witness. What is that verse? Overseer and witness. Upadrishta, Anumanta.
Hanumanta
So Upadrishta and Anumantascha. So yeah, thank you. So Upadrishta and Anumantas, overseer and permitter. So overseer and permitter is okay, but can we make Krishna oversee our devotional service rather than overseeing what our other material desires are remaining? Can we walk towards Krishna? And we cannot walk towards Krishna without studying Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting Hare Krishna. That I fully relished over the weekend. We cannot, because Srimad Bhagavatam is a powerhouse of what's the secret of going to Krishna. If somebody gives a secret access to some other, like a map, a map to go to a secret place. I think sailors used to have that in past ages. If you want to sail to a secret island, this is how you go, and the map was secret. This is like a map, a design, a pathway to go to Krishna. But when we get attracted to something over here, we get attracted to, like, okay, I'm going to Krishna, but okay, let me just take a pause and see around, look around, and sit around and eat around, which is fine. Krishna is not going to judge. Krishna is not going to judge, but why to do it when the real route is available to go back home? Okay, when the vehicle of human body is available, when the guidance is available, intelligence is available, a intelligent person will say, this life for Krishna. Okay, so understand that why Krishna is saying that no one is superior to Brahmanas, because they have all these qualities. We cannot say that, okay, we're going to copy paste this line, therefore among all living entities, no one is superior to Brahmanas, and then the caste Brahmana people can achieve or actually can get entitled for superiority over other castes. That's not what Krishna is saying. That's not because this is separated by a word called therefore. When there is a word, sentence begins with the word therefore, it means that it's the continuation of something which was said before. For example, Prabhupada explains this in Brahma Jigyasa. What is that? Tathat Brahma Jigyasa. Right? This is the aphorism. Tathat Brahma Jigyasa. So Prabhupada explains, therefore, you become curious to find out who you are. So that the therefore means there is a continuation before that. Okay, now having attained the human form of life, you have attained, now therefore become curious as to who you are. So therefore, among all living entities, no one is superior to Brahmins. So why? Because this is a continuation of the description of the 8 qualities of the Brahmins that Krishna is describing in this particular verse. He's encouraging Rishabdev is encouraging Bharat Maharaj to rule, but rule under the supervision of Brahmins, and he's giving reason, rule under them because they can guide you in a proper direction because they have all these qualities. It'll be so nice if the government is run by a Brahminical, under the supervision of a Brahminical person. We call it in the secular world, they're not Brahminical qualities, but in a secular world, the government will have something called advisory committee. Have you heard of this advisory committee? Have you heard of this term before, advisory committee?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
yes, Mataji.
There is like an advisory committee which actually gives advice on a particular topic. So but an advisory committee should be exclusively made of Brahmins, not otherwise. But it is not happening because everybody is bringing their own vested interest. No one is bringing in the vested interest of Krishna. One day I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture, is unrelated, but it came to my mind. Prabhupada was saying that imagine we are giving so much trouble to Krishna, how lonely he must feel. Prabhupada was saying that, how lonely he must feel. We are giving so much trouble to Krishna. He's trying so hard to claim us back. He's sending his agents. He's giving us knowledge. He's giving us human form of life. He's giving us so much, but we are still not going. Imagine how disappointed Krishna must be. So he said, don't disappoint Krishna in this life. Go to him. You will always be secure. There's no sense of insecurity in that journey. Okay, understand that who is a real Brahmin. So this particular verse is a true description of a Brahmin. And understand the 8 qualities. I have very briefly mentioned the 8 qualities. And understand that next time if somebody says I'm a Brahmin or I'm a Kshatriya or I'm this or I'm that, we now have a background to choose whether I want to choose the face value or whether I want to choose based on Guru, Sadhu and Shastra principle. And that choice will define which direction I'm going to go next. Okay, because when we say yes to Krishna, we say no to all the other misconceptions that we have held in our life for so long. So saying yes to Krishna means saying no to all these misconceptions. Okay. Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections, complaints.